Hello everyone, we are officially back with the Borg T96 transmission for my 61 Cushman. I've got all the parts I need to put it back together, new seals, needle bearings, everything, and I've got everything as clean as I'm comfortable with, which is actually really freaking clean. And ready to go back together. So we're going to start with the shift levers, which get installed into the housing first. But let's look at all the parts cleaned up. All right, here are all the parts, and I've already test fit these several times, and these fit together nicely. It seems to shift nicely, so just need to get the bearings pressed onto the shafts and get everything reassembled. Inside the case cleaned up pretty good too. The tiny bit of rust right there, I'm not concerned about. Once it gets fluid in here, it's not going to be any kind of problem. But the right there in the center, right there, that is the center of these shift levers right here. And these only really go in one way. So, and in here you have ball bearing like this. You have one on each side, and you have the metal barrel and a spring and a small pin that goes in there. And I started off with this one here, yeah. Started off with this one, putting it in on this side first, and then I went to the other side. You kind of really can't see much, but I do have these lubricated up a little bit, so I got the new seals in already, so just got to push this in. Make sure it's not damaging the seal. Oh yeah, we're good. So let me get these in, and I'll show you with them fully installed. Alright, I got one in right now, and this pin right here just knocks in, and you tap it with the hammer to lock it in. It only goes in when this shaft is in the perfect position. Get this one out. That pin actually rides right here. So when you're pushing it in, this will only ever stick out so far. Then that locks in, and you just tap it in to lock it in. So let's get this one on. All right, these are installed with the new seals. See, this is what it looks like on the inside, and it moves. Trying to do this one-handed. There we go. Everything looks good. Now for the needle bearings and that thing right there. Alright, I have that center shaft in there already. Kind of got it glued in place with some of this Dr. Tranny assembly goo. Just to hold everything in there. And the needle bearings I got in the bag right here. I got a little lid right here, little lid right there. I'm gonna dump these out so they don't roll everywhere. Okay, now gonna be taking those one by one and sticking them in there and holding them in place with a tool that a real good friend of mine made for me at Scott's Speed Shop, and he affectionately calls it one custom dingleberry installer. So let's take a look at it. There it is there. I had him put some threaded threads on the end, just in case I'm doing a future build and I have to close stuff off, and this is the perfect length for this, and I can put the bolts with the larger washer to hold everything together until I can fully assemble. So This is perfect length to go in here. I actually need to take the bolts out because those do make it too long. Okay, and that goes in there, and then I just drop the needle bearings in there. So let's do it. Alright, I have all the needle bearings in, and I've got that other retainer right there, or race, whatever you want to call it, on the other side also. So let's get that back on. And get the washers oriented correctly with looking at my diagram here. Where did it go? There it is. So we got that big one there, which is this one here, goes on this end. And we got the other two, which are these two. Goes on this end. This one actually has a recess for this right here. So this one's going to ride just like that. And then this one's going to sit right there. Once it goes through the shaft all the way, it's actually perfectly centered. So time to get some more of this assembly goo on here to hold this in place on both sides so I can drop this in. Alright, it is in. It is installed. You got the shaft going in this way, going in this side where this other pin needs to go in. And here's the tool pushing back out. So instead of going ahead and pulling that out or pushing this through, I think I do need to install this one at the same time, because there is a slot right here. That slot has a bar that goes across between here and this pin that kind of locks them in place and stops them from sliding out that way, or this way. This way is going to have a plate, but it stops them from sliding out that way and backing themselves out. So let me get this one pushed in far enough, and then I'll start to get that one in. All right, both the shafts are in. The installer worked. This needle bearing installer worked flawlessly. Big thank you to Big thank you to Jed Scott at Scott Speed Shop for making that for me. And it's in. Rotate this a little bit and show y'all some of this rotating action in here. Not very much at the moment, but went ahead and lubricated the gears with some more of that assembly goo. But they're in. Everything's rotating good. Everything's smooth. Now to press on the bearings on the shafts and get where's my finger? There it is. Get this section done. Alright, I got the input shaft installed, which I kind of had to beat it in and kind of put it in at an angle like that, at an angle like that, because of how that larger part of that lower gear is. There might be an easier way to install it, but I kind of had to force it. But everything's in. Got the retainer clip back on. I don't have a proper size clips for that, so I kind of had to play with that a little bit. But retainer's on both sides, on the outer part and on the shaft part right there. And I'm lubricating everything up with that assembly goo as I go, so everything's lubricated while I'm moving it. And my phone's about to die, so I need to go charge my phone for a little bit, and then come back out here and finish putting everything back together. Next, what I'm going to be doing is installing the bearings inside here for this end of the shaft. So Gonna let my phone charge up a little bit, and then I'll be back out here. Alright, this is how everything else goes together on the shaft. The bearings are on. I already got the bearing installed. This gear goes on, then this gear goes on, then synchronizer, then this piece, then that piece goes over this one, and then you got another synchronizer, and you got a couple of clips in here that I have in there, and it all slides in, goes in there with these shift levers, and it's kind of hard to hold the phone and do it. I really don't feel like setting up my GoPro, so this is how it goes. I'm going to be fighting with it, going it in, and not really fighting with it, just having to hold stuff and making sure everything's good. So let me get this in, and then I'll show you fully assembled and working. Well, I had to play with them for a little bit, but I was able to get all of these needle bearings in. The last one I actually had to drop in. Let's see, grab my pointer. I actually had to instead of pushing it in from the middle, I actually had to push it in from the top because that is actually a pretty tight fit in there. But I counted them. I counted the old ones, and I had 13, and I got 13 in here again. So I know I'm good. Everything's tight. Everything's good. So going back together. Alright, I got this shift mechanism put back together, and this is what it looks like right here. You got that outer piece right there on the right, and you got the inner piece right there, and there's hang on. It's really professional. You got this piece right here, and this inner piece right here, and you got 3 of these going in the grooves right there, and the clips right here holding in those on both sides. And that's what I have here. That is the little piece right there, there, and there, and I got a clip on both sides. And you got to pay attention because this piece right here is taller than this side, and this side goes on the shaft first. Then a clip goes on the shaft. So let me get this on, and then get that clip on and get stuff together. All right, got this thing reinstalled and got the little clip on right there. I'm going to make sure it's fully seated everywhere before I fully install. Now it's a matter of wrestling this back in with this shifter back in, and then it's back together. Alright, well, it is back together. It's now time for the end plates and gaskets, so I can actually play with the shifting and stuff and not have to worry about pushing the shafts in and out. With the Cushman T96 transmission that I could find, this gasket was no longer made. What I did was I got one of those Cricut Explorer Air 2 vinyl cutter machines, and with the help of the Fusion 360 program, I was able to design and basically print off my own gasket for this. And it's perfect. It has enough, it has the recess, it has the perfect size on the center to let the bearing retainer go in here, and it's got the cutouts for the holes for the shafts right there. So was able to make that, and also where's the other gasket. Was able to make the gasket for this piece right here too. So let me get these on. This piece down here on this side, and this piece on the other side, and start to play with the shifting on this thing. Okay, we are fully reassembled and working. See, pretty sure, yeah, Alright, I'm pretty sure that is reverse. And that's good. Here we go. And all the gears are working. Nice. Some of this rubbing sounds you're hearing are the shift forks are still dry, so I will be lubricating those along with the other sets of gears down there. I'm going to run it through the gears, get everything lubricated, and then close it up. Probably paint it. I haven't decided if I want to paint it back the original silver color or go with black. But I'm probably going to go with the silver or aluminum look. May actually have some of that spray paint from when I restored the one of the alternators on my the alternator on my Charger. But here's the transmission rebuilt. I do apologize for not having a more in-depth how-to going back together. I've been really wanting to get this thing back together since I took it apart and realized the gears were still good. Now the gears are pitted in several places, but going in a Cushman truckster, these gears are going to be just fine. So I'm gonna get all the get everything lubricated and then close it back up, and then, well, that's it. So there's the video. And I know my approach to taking this thing apart and putting it back together was a little caveman-esque, if you want to call it that. But it's done. Feel good about it. Everything works. Everything's shifting right. Got new needle bearings. Got new seals. New gaskets. So all I got to do is get everything else working on that 61 truckster. So there it is. If you liked the video, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.